Bang! What an episode today! Two really cool pistols are in my hands. In my left hand, Palmetto State Armory AKv, and in my right hand, PSA KP9. So tons of questions from you guys. You were asking for me to produce some sort of the opinion which pistol is better, what I think about both of them. And now when both pistols completed 5,000 rounds challenge, I can finally share with you my observations for what it's worth. So I will start with the AKv because the AKv went first through the AKOU challenges and everything. I will say extremely reliable pistol. You're going to have a blast shooting it. There is big difference between the AKv and the KP9, and it is, as you can see, that magazine well, and the AKv is using a Scorpion Evo style magazines. This was done on purpose by Palmetto State Armory. At that time, the Scorpion was very well established on the US market. They went with that design, and I think it was brilliant idea. Also, the cost for the magazine. The cost for the magazine from the Palmetto State Armory is $14.99 versus Kalashnikov USA. The cheapest ones I found were still over $36. Big difference. So I think what the Palmetto State Armory did here was a really good move. Now the magazine, well, offers a lot of features which are kind of familiar to the Western rifles style shooters from like AR-15, right? You have the bolt hold open on the last round that see the bolt will lock like this, and even if you remove the magazine, you're putting the fresh mag with the ammo, and then you can use the switch on the left side and that will close the bolt and you are ready for rock and roll. So as I said, for the Western style shooters, not the Western style firearms shooters, this pistol offers a lot of features which they are already familiar with. When going back to the Kalashnikov USA, of course, there's no round in the magazine. As you can see, there's no stop for the bolt, so there's no bolt hold open, and it is basically a classic design from the AK family of the rifles. So that feature for holding the bolt open on the last round is not present on the KP9. Now, as far as the other features, as you guys know, the AKv has inside two buffers, and that's not what the KP9 is using. KP9 design is without the buffers. That being said, this pistol survived 5,000 rounds, and basically I think we had just very few malfunctions. Both pistols will function in any environment. Like we had them in swamps for the multiple days, dipped, right? They cycled. They both went through the tornado sand, and I think both completed tornado sand emptied out magazines. So outstanding performance, and this just tells you that this blowback system, gas blowback system, yes, it's extremely dirty. It basically pollutes the whole receiver with the junk, but it does not affect the overall cycling or performance. So on that note, I would say both the Palmetto State Armory and the Kalashnikov USA firearms deliver, and it is something special, and it's really a pleasure. They both also chug on any type of the ammo. I mean, they will eat everything. Steel case, you know, brass case, and hollow points. They will both shoot and spit and keep moving forward. So no issues whatsoever. Now we talk about the ergonomics on the AKV, and one thing which I want to point out, the AKV will take the regular style furniture from AKM or AK-74 up front. You don't have to do any mods to it, it will just fit. Now for the KP9, as you know, is basically a VTS clone. So this looks like regular AK furniture at the bottom, but you have to trim it. If you want to use the standard regular AKM furniture at the bottom, you will have to file a lot on the part which goes inside the receiver. But on the other hand, it will take any furniture design for the VTS, I think with some minor changes, but it will work. The top is no issue. It is just the regular, you know, cover for the gas tube. Other than this, the grips, you can swap grips, they will work too. And the triggers, with triggers, a lot of people is putting the ALG triggers to both of these. You have to do some little filing on some parts, but I would strongly recommend upgrading triggers on both of them to ALG, because this is a short reset trigger and you can have much more fun. As far as handling, I have no issues moving and maneuvering with both of these firearms. Outstanding job. Very easy, very compact. If you want to do some ninja type workouts, these both firearms will serve you extremely well. Watch Garant Thump, what the Garant Thump can do. He did, I think, fairly recently, he posted the video about the AKV, so you can see, you know, all the cool shit stuff and what is possible. And absolutely for the CQB type scenarios, you will have tons of fun, and I highly recommend both of these to even for, you know, like the ninja workouts and things like this. You're going to have a blast. Both do have raylet dust covers, and for both you can put the optic on the top. I did not have any issues with either AKV or KP9. That being said, I read some comments, and as always with the mass production, people were bitching a little bit for both. For the KP9 there were some issues with the dust covers, and for the AKV people were talking about shifting and moving on the optics, but it's hard really to say what was the issue when someone just posts on the internet without holding the gun in that regard, because it's hard to evaluate the skill set for the shooter, and maybe you know, he was a little bit at fault. It's hard to tell, but I just want to point out that both of these had some issues with the dust covers, so that's something to keep in mind. In my test, I never had the zero shifting either on the KP9 or AKV, and I think that they will hold. Like if you will put the basic micro dots, it will work perfectly fine. Now going back to the pricing, the KP9 price was, Kalashnikov USA dropped the price on the KP9, right? They started off with like well over $1,000. Now they are just below $1,000 for $999.99. You're going to get the basic pistol without the brace. So forget this part. For $999.99 on their website, they list the KP9 in the form like this, basically. If you look at the prices for the AKV, and the Palmetto State Armory just flooded the market with different variants. You can find whatever you want, but like for the setup similar to this with the SB3 tactical brace, you're going to pay around a little bit more than $800, like $820, I think the best deal I have seen. So you got basically $200 difference between those two, and the AKV already has a brace. So that's something to keep in mind if you are budget minded and you are on tight budget. this is definitely a value, right? You got more for the money paid. Now, where the KP9 matters to most is this is as close to the Vityaz on a mass production USA as it gets. So if your priority number one is to have or build the clone of Vityaz, there is no competition, right? You gotta roll with the KP9. This is the very, very close copy of the Vityaz, pistol or SBR, if you wanna go that route. Of course, the Vityaz is not the pistol. The short barrel rifle term was coined only in United States. It exists only in United States. So if you want to have SBR Vityaz, you have to do the paperwork, and it's very easy to basically duplicate how the Vityaz would look like. So going back again to, if this is your criteria, then the KP9 takes over. If you're just looking for the 9mm blaster style like AK, I think AKV will serve you very, very well. There is tons of fun which you can have with both of these firearms. As I said, both did very well in the 5,000 rounds durability tests, and as they're still holding, I'm still using and still shooting both of them. I feel extremely comfortable running either one of these. I do not discriminate, and I think that they are both fun. You have to decide if the price of the mags and the price of the firearm alone is something what it is going to have the biggest impact on the purchase. But as far as these two working and for using and shooting, you're going to have fun with either one of these two, and it will basically boil down if you want to be in a Vityaz like club or you're just looking for the 9mm AK. And that's it. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions related to both of these, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer it from what I have observed and from what I have learned when using them to that extended amount of time and rounds down the range. All right, that's it. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for being with us. Please do not forget to hit the subscribe and notification bell so YouTube will let you know that we did post the new video. Thank you, guys.